Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Vet07, and today we're going to be doing a fruit tier list. So the first tier list that you're going to see is going to be PVE. The second one's going to be PvP, and then we'll go ahead and do the same thing for swords after. Also, for example, bomb, right? This is just going to be an awakening. So just if you see bomb, I'm talking about V2. You know, same thing with Quake. All these other awakens, right? They're all just going to be V2. Spin, utterly useless. It literally does 0 damage. Bomb awaken. Bomb Awaken isn't really that good. It's just really a waste of gems. It's pretty garbage. Human actually isn't in the game anymore, but I'm just going to put it in D tier because it doesn't matter. Spike is actually decently strong. It's not the worst fruit in the game. Now, this fruit was extremely strong last update. And honestly, I haven't checked it before, but in the patch notes, they didn't say they nerfed it. I don't understand why they would nerf it necessarily, because they're not really too worried about the PvE stuff. So I'm going to have to put this at the bottom of A tier, because this fruit's really easy to get, and also it's just a really solid DPS fruit with good cooldowns. So this is definitely a W. Giraffe is useless. Barrier is useless. Wolfit actually is kind of decent for grinding. It has a move that can group up, so it's actually not the worst. Now, Love did get a damage buff on its last ability, so it actually is somewhat decent. I'm going to go ahead and put it probably near the bottom of A. Smoke, pretty mid fruit, just to be honest. Just stay away from it. Shadow has pretty bad AoE but good damage. String, same thing. I think this is probably a little bit better than Shadow. Gear 4 and Gear 2, they have M1s, so they're actually not, it's actually not that bad. I think this fruit actually is carried by the M1s. Like, it has good DPS because of the M1s. So if you utilize the M1s, then this could go crazy. Sand, nobody's using sand, bro. Who's using sand? Let's be honest. Also, once I'm done with the entire PvE tier list, I'm going to just go over everything for a second and just make sure that I made all the right decisions. But telekinesis is the new fruit. It's weak, honestly. It's pretty weak. It looks good, but it's just weak. Now, leopard actually is going to be our first B tier fruit. Now, leopard has these flame bullets that recharge pretty quick. They're like M1s, but a little bit different. So, leopard is pretty solid. So, Buddha V2. I think Buddha V2 might be meta. If you guys don't know, Buddha V2 has a passive ability where if you get the force bar all the way up, you get like 90% damage reduction. So you're basically unkillable for 30 seconds, and then it's pretty easy to get the force bar. And there's some pretty crazy builds that I'm probably gonna make a video on that you could, like, you literally could just survive anything basically. It's really ridiculous. So Buddha is probably gonna be meta. Haven't done too much testing with it, but from what I've seen, it is really, really good. Dark V2 is just weak. I'm going to put it in probably near bottom of A tier, because this is actually a decent fruit for Hydras. The last move does like 150k damage. Like, it's something ridiculous. Okay, so now something that is meta DPS, Venom V2. Venom V2 has been really strong for a while now. You could basically unawaken the first 2 moves, and then use the just teleport, last ability, first 3 moves. And you get like extremely high burst damage, like 80k damage in total with really good cooldowns. Venom is insane. It just doesn't have the best AoE. So it's like hard raid meta and like Hydra meta, but it's not really that good for farming, but it's also not useless. But yeah, Venom is insanely strong. Same with Gravity. Now, I did check out Gravity on a boss, and I did have Unawakened Meteor, so it was doing a little bit less. But basically on a big target, it wasn't doing as much as I thought it would be doing. I'm not sure if this got like a little bit of a nerf, but it definitely is still strong. It's definitely a really good grinding fruit just overall. I just don't think it's necessarily the best DPS right now. So dinosaur fruits, you just want to entirely stay away from dinosaur fruits. All the dinosaur fruits and the mammoth fruit are all pretty bad. They don't really do that much damage, and also the big hitbox kind of screws you over a little bit. So OP V2. So OP V2 is an interesting one. Since we're doing PvE, I'm going to have to put it in meta. I did a raid with this, and 6 OPs versus raid. I did do a raid recently with OP, and it was actually surprisingly good. I won't spoil the time for it, but it was really good, and also I was lagging quite a bit, and a few people in there were lagging, and it did run a good time. So this is definitely up there for DPS. I definitely do like OP. Don't use Koru though for PvE. For PvP, yes, Koru, but no for PvE. This is definitely a solid fruit. So Ice V2. Now, I don't think Ice V2 is meta, but it is really good though. It's really good for Hydras or whatever you're trying to farm the new bosses. It has basically you can make land with the first ability on water, and then you can also stand on water. It also has all ranged moves, so you don't have to get really close to the crab or whatever you're trying to fight. It has good damage. It's just a really all-around solid fruit and not a bad pick for this update. Same with Flame V2. Flame V2 is just a decent, solid pick. It's got like a good amount of range, good amount of damage, and it's gonna fly on it, so it's decent fruit. So once again, Magma is probably the best fruit in the game. It has decent AoE, insane DPS, really good cooldowns, and it's just insanely good. This is definitely the best fruit in the game currently. Still, last update, as you guys know, it was pretty dang good. Now Snow V2 doesn't really do a lot of damage. I want to put it in like top of B, because I low-key feel like Leopard could out-damage it, but Leopard doesn't really have the AoE. But Leopard can group up with an ability. I just don't really see... it's just kind of mid, you know. I'm going to put it at the bottom of A, but yeah, this fruit is definitely kind of mid. So Light V2 is insanely good. Now, the combo that I've been running recently is Yoru V2, which is the best sword currently for the bigger hitbox bosses. And then Light V2 has just got good movement and 3 long-range moves that synchronize really well with Yoru. So this is a really good grinding fruit for Hydras. In terms of like DPS, it's not really all that. It's kind of got mid DPS, and in terms of AoE, it's kind of mid too. But it definitely is a really good fruit for grinding those bosses. Gas fruit is terrible. Stay away from this. It's just really bad. Rumble is also another huge W. I want to say it's low-key better than Flame V2. It's got a lot of range on it, so it's good for bosses, and it also has good AoE. So it's really good for everything in the game currently, and it's really easy to get. So yeah, it's definitely a really good fruit, and I would recommend it. Also, I'm gonna move Dark up just above Paw, because Paw doesn't really have the best AoE. Also, Dark goes really crazy on bigger targets, so I'm just gonna move that up really quick. Also, Quake got a huge buff. Now it doesn't have any movement, so I don't think a lot of people are gonna use this. But in terms of Sea Beast and all that, I don't really think Quake is better than Flame V2, but everything else, Flame is definitely better. Or excuse me, Quake is definitely better than Flame. But since there's no movement on this, you're going to have to use ATK V2 or some type of movement on your sword or melee. But yeah, Quake did get a massive buff. If you guys don't know, the waves do huge amounts of damage. They got 2x, or they got 2x from last update. They do 28,000 damage right now. Also, if you put Dofi glasses on, you're hitting like almost 40k. So yeah, Quake is really good again. I do like Quake. Gold is an interesting one. Gold is actually surprisingly decent. It's nobody uses gold, but it has a high burst damage, and overall it's just a really good fruit. Spirit's pretty bad. I would stick away from this. The damage is decent. It has a lot of end lag though, so you just sit there and hold moves and stand still. It's just not good. Same with Magnet. Magnet just isn't really that good right now. I would actually like to see some buffs to this fruit, but it's just an alright fruit. Next we have Phoenix. Phoenix is going to go at the bottom of A tier because the healing is really nice, and I think that's the only part about Phoenix that's really good right now. Both of the moves on it, or the 3 moves that do damage, are really close range, so they're not really that good for Hydras or whatever you're trying to fight. For the third C bosses, it's just not really that good. But the thing is that you can run Yoru V2, which is the highest DPS sword right now, which is this super long range, really nice for those big targets in the water, like Hydras or all the third C bosses, except for Dragon and maybe Crab. But Phoenix pairs decently well with Yoru, so that's why it's A tier. Other than that, it's not really that good for PVE, but for grinding, it's okay. It's just not really the best fruit right now, but it's not bad. So next we have Gate. Now Gate's an interesting one. Honestly, Gate. It does have a group up move. I think that Love probably is still better than it. It's definitely not bad though. I want to say it's better than Paw, at least. I think I'm gonna do this. So Paw is a little bit better than Phoenix in my opinion. I think Snow could probably beat out this for grinding. I don't know. It's kind of hard because Paw doesn't really have any movement. It's just straight DPS and not a lot of AoE. So Paw is definitely good. It's just, is it really better than these fruits though? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say with Paw, but yeah. Anyways, Gate Gate is good because it can group up and it does decent damage and it just pairs well with any sword. So Gate is definitely decent. Alright, so now for the next legendary, Toy. Toy, I don't use much of Toy, but it's not really that good. It does have a grouping up move, so it is pretty decent for grinding. I want to say it is better than Gate. But is it better than these fruits? I don't know, man. Toy just isn't really that good right now. I think it's getting outshined by these two legendaries. Talking about these two legendaries, Do V2. I want to say Do V2's meta. Do V2 has a really good movement ability. So you can get to those CBs fast. It has a really, really good stun. It has like literally an infinite combo. And you don't even need your sword, I'm pretty sure. It has like a 7-second stun. It has a barrage that can group up every single enemy. It has a move that sends them up in the air, and then it combo extends on a very short cooldown on good damage. It's just, everything about Do is just really, really good. The only problem with it is its ultimate. You sit there and spin around, and it keeps the NPCs on the ground, and they can M1 you to death. But other than the ultimate, it really is a really, really good fruit for pretty much every content, like all content in the game. Alright, so the last fruit I want to talk about is Dragon. Dragon is really, really insane right now. I did a raid with it. It was kind of slow in raid, so it's not like raid meta, but everything else is super good. Like, I find myself always wanting to come back to Dragon. It's just so easy. It has one of the fastest movements in the game in its transformation. It has really, really good damage on the first ability, which the first ability has like no cooldown. The ultimate's good. Like, everything about it is just so good. It has 3 ranged moves as well, so it's pretty good for those Hydras or whatever you're trying to fight, those time bosses. I think this fruit is really, really, really good. Now, if it's better than Buddha and OP, I want to say it's better than Buddha, but Buddha has like a really crazy, Buddha can be really crazy. That's the thing. I just need to do a little bit more testing, but Buddha does have the potential to be better. So the top 3 fruits have the most DPS in the game, 100%. So if you just want like straight DPS and just for Hydras or just hard raids, these are the fruits right here. If you want like grinding, you could go with Dragon, Do V2. There's a lot of good choices here. Also, I do think I'm going to move Dark down because Dark only has 1 use. I actually think, Dark just isn't good, honestly. You know what? I'm going to move it down. It has 1 good move, maybe 2. But everything else sucks. It's really, really bad. Except if you're fighting a big target, it's good. Other than that, it's really bad. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it at the bottom of A tier. You know what? I'm gonna put it in top of B. I'm not the biggest fan of this crap, but I know it's not good. It's just mid. So it would be nice to see some more buffs come to this fruit because this fruit did get buffed, but it's not really significant enough. But yeah, this is the tier list. Alright, so here is the PvP tier list if you're interested. I will talk about a few things really quick before we go into the swords. But just for the best stuff in the game currently, I think that the old PvP meta is pretty much the same. Now, the thing about OP as well, a lot of people are probably going to be asking about OP. With Koru, it's alright. The damage isn't really that good. If you have Glacier or Sparkstone, it becomes a lot better. But other than that, OP's kind of mid. If you have like a fruit with like good movement or like decent range, it kind of counters OP. But OP it just needs a combo, right? Like the only reason why Glacier makes it somewhat good is because Glacier could drop them to the floor, and then you can go ahead and kill, you can go ahead and hit them with other moves. But other than that, OP's alright. Buddha, now I haven't tested much of Buddha, but I heard it is decent in PvP. But you can't switch to your sword, but you do have that DR, which means it's like pretty much unkillable. So I think this might actually have some potential. Now Dragon and base, I heard has a one-shot combo right now. Because you could like combo in base and then like transform, detransform, because detransforming and transforming does damage. So this is really iffy right now. I just need to test this a little bit. But I heard this does have a one-shot and it does make sense, honestly. So Dragon could be S. Magnet is also making a little bit of a comeback. ATK's back. And ATK Magnet was super, super broken back in the day. So I would have to imagine Magnet is pretty much not back, but it is decent. Another thing that you might see is Rumble Quake. Now, I think Rumble Quake is pretty dang good. Rumble has always just been decent recently. It's just really a solid fruit. It does a lot of damage, has good range, good AoE. I've seen people go crazy with this fruit. Now, Quake ATK is back. Quake ATK has a one-shot. The only problem with it is the movement, but ATK kind of makes up for that, so Quake is definitely really good. Gate, if you have no dodges, Gate is literally a free one-shot. You just use Blood Moon Twins and you're dead. Love, really good. All these really good. Phoenix is also decent. You can heal too. Gravity, you could, the first ability is stun, so it's good with like a melee build. But other than that, that should be it. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. Also, join my Discord fast when you see this video because there might be a perm doe giveaway going on still. Also, please subscribe for more and more videos soon.